welcome to this video. I think it's funny how I still address these as everyone, knowing full well that only one person watches my YouTube videos as of right now, but I hope to grow one day. I just need to be more consistent. But that being said, today I'm going to be going through what I read in June and July, and then also talking about what I want to read in August. So that's going to be today's video. I'm sorry I didn't get a video out in July. A lot of stuff happened in our family and I wasn't able to film or anything, so yeah, but hopefully this video is entertaining and helpful to all you other readers out there. Guys, I was trying to film a higher quality video and I literally cannot do it because I use my phone to film. It's fine. All right, let's just get into it. Okay, so this is what I read in June and July, and I've read quite a bit and a lot of good books. But first, we're going to start out with Fable. This is by Adrienne Young, and I've had this on my shelf for such a long time now, but I haven't read it. But I've always looked at the cover and I'm like, it's so pretty. Like, why haven't you read it yet? So I decided to read it because I'm trying to get through my physical TBR. But we're going to have to take a little side note away from that. But we'll get to that in a second. I loved this book. I loved the found family in this book more than the found family in Six of Crows, which is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but it just kind of hit closer to me and I had more connections to it. So yeah, I literally gave it to my friend and she read it, and then she went to the library and read all the other books, and I still haven't done that yet because I got distracted. But again, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this was the first book that I read in June. Okay, next on my list that I read is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter. And guys, I read this in the perfect setting because one of my cousins got married this summer, and I was literally reading this book as like we were at the wedding and like doing all the wedding festivities. Like I read it like when we were traveling, and it was perfect because it was literally just perfect. But the setting is a wedding and I just loved it so much. Like, I needed a little palate cleanser, and I was hesitant to read this because typically I read fantasy and I don't read a lot of romance, but this was so sweet, and it's a YA. So it was like, you know, no high stakes really, and like, I love it so much, and I rated it 5 stars. So yeah, already 2 5-star reads for like the past 2 months, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Next, I read Crown of Midnight, which is the second book in the Throne of Glass series, and I am not gonna lie, I read this like, and I got to like halfway and I was like this is kind of dragging. Like, I was interested enough, like with the books of Throne of Glass, like the books in the series up until this point, I was like, okay, I see the groundwork we're laying, and like towards the end of the book it would like capture me and I'd just be stuck reading the last 100 pages. Like, if I knew I only had like a certain amount of pages left, like I would have to basically carve out a time I knew I could read because I knew I wasn't gonna want to stop. But like the first 2 books in the series that I read, which was Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, I had to like push through those first couple pages. But like once you got past the halfway point, I was in it. I was like, all right, what's going on? And the ending of this book, it had me shook. I was like, what? But also not what, because I expected that. Like, I was kind of like theorizing that would happen, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, but just like, it was so good. So I think I only rated this like a 4 stars just because the beginning of it was so slow to me. I feel like a huge part of that too is also just like the time I've had to read. Like, I'm also very busy with other things, so that kind of plays a part in it. But yeah, that's how I feel about guys. You're gonna start noticing a pattern here. But then I read The Assassin's Blade, which is also part of the Throne of Glass series, and guys, I am so mad that I didn't read this first. And now, like from now on, if I tell my friends to read this series, I'm making them start with this one, because everything else in this series would, 1, make so much sense, and 2, you would be so much more connected. Like, For the first 3 books I read in the series, I felt kind of disconnected from the characters, and like, you know, I felt something for Selena, but like not enough for me to just be like in love, you know. But again, it like picks up towards the end, and I did expect what was coming, which was the hard part, because like I knew what happened, and so I was like dreading it. And I'm gonna be honest, I read this book so slow because I knew it was coming and I knew it was gonna break me, and it did. And I was very sad, but I think it would have hurt me more if I had read this one first. So please read it. Please read this one first. But I only rated it 3 stars because I feel like a lot of the things in this book is like laying the groundwork and also like background information. And again, I think if I would have read it first, I would have enjoyed it more, but I didn't. So yeah, that's how I feel. Now coming to my favorite book that I read in the past 2 months. Airfire, which is 4th book in the Sarah J. Maas Throne of Glass series, but technically the 3rd one from Throne of Glass. This has been my favorite. This book. I cried like 5 times throughout because I finally was like feeling the connection to Selena and just like some of the other characters too, and I was like, it put me through so much emotionally, but I loved it. And like I almost was like slower to read it again because I loved it so much. I was like so 5 stars for me. And with that being said, I think we understand what my August TBR is really gonna be all about. This is definitely my Throne of Glass series summer. That's really what it comes down to. I have 2 weeks before I go back to school, and I plan on finishing the entire series in those 2 weeks. I thought about filming it, but then I would want to film it like without any spoilers, just like raw reactions. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone, and not enough people watch my videos for it to be like something that they would watch. So yeah, but with that being said, we have Queen of Shadows on our TBR. This is the last one I have in the series right now. But my friend, one of my book friends, she sent me money to buy the next book, and it was literally so sweet. Like I could have literally cried. I was like, stop. But yeah, so the next one is Empire Storms, and then I can't remember what's after that. Like Kingdom of Ash is the last one, I think. But yeah, I plan on reading all of them, all of their 800 pages in all. I'm a pretty fast reader, so it shouldn't be that hard. It's just gonna be carving out time to do that. But in case that doesn't happen and I need like a little cleanser in the middle there, guys, I got 4th Wing. And let me just tell you the story. So I had gone to Barnes & Noble with one of my friends, and we were looking at the books, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have 4th Wing. And they don't really know a lot about like book talk or whatever, and they were like, oh, like that's cool. And I was like, no, like this is the most popular book right now, like you literally don't understand. So I went ahead and put it on hold because it is kind of an expensive book. Like it's literally $30, and I just don't have that kind of money lying around. Like I don't have a job or anything because of my sport. But then I was like, okay, let's go to Target, because Target always has like maybe some percentages off or like whatever. We go to Target, and it is the last book sitting on the shelf, and it's 30% off. 30% off. It's not just 20%, it's 30%. So you best believe I bought it, and now I have it, so I can read it. But I did get distracted with the Throne of Glass series, and I'm going to be finishing that. But I'm excited to read this because I feel like this is the most hyped up book of the whole year. But it's going to have to wait because right now it is Throne of Glass time, and I just cannot separate myself from that series. And I know the book hangover from the series is going to be so bad, but I figure if I read this, maybe it won't be so bad. But anyways, in the fall I plan on getting back to the Harry Potter series because I feel like Harry Potter is just such a fall thing. Yeah, but that's kind of my tentative plans. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below more videos you'd like to see from me. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. This is kind of like me experimenting and seeing what I can do. I think I'm gonna start trying to market this channel and like be more consistent so that like this can be something that I do more often and like, you know, whatever. So yeah, but I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace and love.